Good morning. It's still morning here, and we've been out shopping already, and I did get a couple things that actually I needed, so I want to show you them. And there wasn't many orchids, and they didn't look good. I feel right now almost all my orchids are in bloom, and the ones that aren't are either a summer one or they're in spike. And I spent the whole day yesterday in the kitchen. Let's see, I made bread, I made coconut top sponge cake, I made a meatloaf, and I made a noodle casserole, and it was like heaven because it's like working in, maybe I've never been to a store that only sells orchids, but it would be like walking through somewhere like that. And then, you know, we had lunch, and it was funny because I always wash the dishes, and I'm not a great dishwasher. I'll own up to that. When I was a kid, my brother and I, we fought through the whole week. Had water fights. We did the dishes, but we always did that. And I was never a good dishwasher even then, but so Jack always has to put things away. Now, I have this bad habit. I always moving things around. You never know, and if you've watched this video channel, you've seen things move around. So, well, I quit moving the big furniture around because I'm getting too old to be shoving that stuff around. And so just the little things. And I moved the little stainless steel thing we keep our wooden utensils in. I have one I keep the rubber ones in, and one I keep or silicone, and one I keep the wooden ones in. And he's trying to put the dishes away, and it's always somewhere different. He says, "Where is it? I can't find it. It was here, and it was here." I said, "Well, now it's over there." You know, that's what goes on in our house. But, you know, I don't know. I've just always been like that. I really have. As a teenager, and my bedroom was down in the basement, I was always moving my furniture around. Anyway, enough of that, because I'm moving plants around today. Maybe that's how I got on this topic. I know there's things I like and things I don't like, and then I think, oh no, that should be there. Well, I've had my two little slipper orchids for years. They've never flowered. They came up and almost flowered maybe a year after I had them, and then the bud dried off. And I think the biggest thing is that even with the misters, it's hard to keep my humidity above upper 40s, you know. If it rains a long time and I open the windows, I might get 50, 60 out of it. But most of the time, it's hard to keep it at a decent level. And the Phalaenopsis are quite happy with that. Even in bark, they're quite happy. So no problem with them. But I am not the slipper orchid guru. Most definitely. Not even going to say I am. And so they're moving. Plus, many years ago, and you know, I went back through my old videos. Oh, got the oven on. It'll stop in a minute. And I can't remember when it was, but I got Haraella retrocalla, a tiny, tiny little mini, and I put her on a bark. I was forever trying to keep her wet and moist and 2-3 times a day. Well, you cannot in this house without a grow room keep something on a piece of slab of bark. Is it going to happen? Too hard work. Doesn't matter how close to the sink I put it. So then it moved to little dishes, and it's moved and moved and moved, and it's on its last legs. So back to the terrarium again, but not planting anything in there. I'm going to put some pots in there. I'm going to show you what I got new, what I'm moving around, and what's working. So I'm going to show you Haraella retrocalla first. Now this in here is, I'm going to, I'll carry that over there. I knew this would come in handy when I picked it up at a garage sale. But you can see, that is an old part of a water fountain. It's like a bunch of flowers, and you can see there's little holes where water came out. But it broke, it's still a little broken. And the water fountain, I keep things. I've been known to keep things. So anyway, I thought, you know, what I did is the bottom a couple inches, I put glass beads, but I also put in the glass beads some Dutch tree charcoal, just to stop it from getting smelly. And there is about probably a half a cup of water in the bottom of this, coming up halfway, not to the top. And I don't plan on keeping any more water than that in there. Now, the plants I'm going to put in there, they like real high humidity. And I was reading all up on Haraella retrocalla, which I put, you know, I'm sure I did years ago, but can't remember. So I did do some reading on her, and apparently she likes like real high humidity, 70–80%. That is not going to happen in this house without a grow room, and I'm not getting a grow room. I like them here. I like being surrounded by them. I like to feel like I'm outside, inside. So that's not going to happen. So, poor thing, I'm going to take her out and show you. Now, I put her in here yesterday after I put the glass beads, the charcoal, and that's all. And then this, I didn't have a real piece of tree. And this actually worked better because it has little cups. Now, I had her in this square dish. She's still, everywhere I put her, she's not happy. So I want to show you just being in there last night. Now, I'll try and hold it real still. I see very few, I see very few, but I see tiny little roots. Now, besides the high humidity, they do not want to sit in water. So each of these little flowers, the water will run off of them. And I'm just tucking her in there like that, because I'll be looking at her every day. I will mist. I'm not going to water her, but she will be getting the high humidity that she's supposed to get. So let's see, you know, she has beautiful little flowers. I would like to see flowers again, and I do not give up easy. Anything you love is worth working hard to keep. Yes, okay. Anyway, so yes, I will mist. This, I like this little mister. It's from Miracle Grow orchid fertilizer. I used 222, I believe it was, but now it's just water in here. But the reason I refilled it, because I love these bottles, not necessarily the 222 fertilizer. I'm sure it was fine, but didn't really notice a big difference with it. So I have put her in there. She is not going to get her feet wet, which they don't like, which she was getting in this pot, which we'll talk more about in a minute. So, okay, I know Haraella retrocalla is going in there. Now, what else is going to go in there? Well, I have two problems. My slipper orchids. I was watching a few channels. I watched Miss Orchid Girl and her slipper orchids. And I watched Ed and his. And I'm just, oh, I hope I can save them. But this has been going on for years. I just, you know, how come I can grow beautiful phalaenopsis and I'm just failing on these? But from Ed's orchids, I did learn something, and I'm going to show you what I learned. So, now, This slipper orchid is planted way too high in the pot because they get little roots, apparently, come out of here, and they're just going to dry up. They're not going to do anything. They like a little to be down in the ground there. So, number one mistake. Number two mistake, I wasn't all that careful when I planted, and I put some of these on here just for weight. And we're going to pull it out, and I'm going to put it in this little pot. Now, I got one of my little orchids from Roehampton Orchids, and they're all doing so good. I'm so happy. But these are special aerated pots, and they said, don't throw them out. And I didn't. I went hunting out in the gazebo for one of them. They're little aerated pots. And I have two slipper orchids. I have this one, and I have one even worse shape in a little square pot, which we'll get to, which is going in this tiny little pot. It will go in a terrarium setup. They do not like wet feet either, but I think the high humidity might help that one out. This one is going to go in this pot, but it's staying on the shelf over here where I've been keeping it. But we do want to look at it and see how it's doing. And I'm not showing you what I got today yet. Now, the name of this one is Paph Shang Bay Shang Callosum. Now this is from Forest View Gardens. These are the only other people I've ordered orchids from, and that was years ago, maybe 2016, something like that. I can't remember, and I couldn't find my paper on it. So they're not in business under that name anymore, or it's under new ownership. So all they sold were slipper orchids, basically. Basically, I got a little Phal from them that's doing quite well now. Phal Anna-Larati. She is doing okay. She's in the other room. So let's see. I'm just going to dump this out. And what I've done here is I hunted through my bottom of my big bag of orchid bark, and I picked out the tiniest little pieces I could find. And I've also mixed in some charcoal and some perlite. So I'm not changing that. That's what I'm going to use. So I think before we put anything else in here, I should do those. So let me just put that there, and we'll see what we got. Now I do have a little bit of lava rock, and I'm going to put that in the very bottom, just for a little extra weight. Although they have nice little feet, and I'm using my other one like that, and I'll show you closer for the fern, which is doing good. So let's see how it looks. Dump it out into a bowl. There we go. Okay, I started doing this yesterday. Sometimes I start doing things I think, I should do a video. So let's just see. I know it's disastrous, so, sit down. I do not brag about how, oh dear, the poor thing. It's been trying so hard. So what's in here is basically bark and a couple big pieces of, so it's a nice little pot, and I'm going to put that over there. There's some pretty big pieces of bark here, and some of my old pieces, and this is good for calcium. Just go on the top of the pot. A couple of little pieces of a broken up old cement. So we'll put that there, and this is what it was in, and my other lesson, too big. The bark was too big. So we'll put that over there, and I'm going to show you, my goodness. I hope it's got one root. this root, you know, it might look okay, but it's not. It's not okay. It's soft. However, this one is hard, and it's the only root that's keeping it going, and it looks like it's trying to do some roots. So, you know, look at that. Now, is it going to fit in that pot and be low enough and not take that? I can't use that pot, can I? I wanted to. No, can't use it. I'll have to put it back in here. So, okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. And what we will do is put some lava rock in the bottom. Just for a little weight, more than anything. There. Okay, now we put that in there but lower. And to get it lower, I'm going to have it right down at, isn't that awful? That's how old this plant is, and nothing has happened. It's amazing. It has 4 leaves. So, now I haven't pre-wet this, so I'm going to try and get this up as deep around it as I can. And then I'm going to put it back. This one is doing better, and I never had perlite in it, and I never had charcoal in it. And at one time I chopped up some leaves and had in there, and I think it was a good idea, but still didn't work. It's lucky I only have 2, that's all I can say. But this is going to have to be filled right to the very top. You know, what am I going to do? Oh boy, it's going to have to be filled right to the top. And it doesn't leave me a lot of what I picked out for my little baby. I guess it'll leave enough. Okay. We want that up as high as we could get. I thought I could even take one of those little mossy worms. Me and moss, we do not do good. Doesn't matter how I try, what I do, me and moss, we are like fire and water. We don't mix. So, I think it's a lot better. I think it's a lot better. Maybe a couple of these bigger, if I pick some out of here that is smaller, put them there. Now, if I had a little bit of live moss, I could. Actually, I think I'm high enough. I think I'm going to make it. So I sure don't want a bigger pot, and I have no way. Now, Ed said he puts his orchid near the edge, the way it's growing. As the new leaf is coming, it's out to the more there's room to grow, because it won't grow anymore on the other side. So let me just give it a little water. Well, it's a lot higher than it was, and let's hope. Maybe with the perlite, maybe being a little bit lower. So that's all we're going to change on that one. I'm going to let it sit there and drain. And there's its little name tag. Now, the disastrous one. I think I have enough, and if there's more perlite, maybe that's a good thing. So, I'm going to bang up. I'll have to later, not now. I'm going to take the hammer to, this is an old piece of cement out of a very old brick, and it has lots of calcium. I'm going to break that up and sprinkle it on the top, but not in front of you because it'll be real noisy. So I'm going to leave that, and let's haul the little baby out of here. So, as you know, I put a few things in here. Oh my. This isn't good. So we're kind of in the same position. See, they've been getting wet feet. That is not good. Now this one is firm enough. Not great. It might be trying to get a root there. I'm not going to peel anything off. But this is, okay, is that firm? Whoops. It's a little bit squishy. Oh dear. Well, anyway, I'm going to help. Let me see. It is a little squishy. This is not good. But because it's so bad, I'm going to just, it's not real squishy, but yeah, there's water in it. Well, it doesn't want to easily peel off. You know what? For now, I'm going to leave it. Because it's a sad, sad, sad situation. And I'm going to just put it in this tiny little pot. And I'll check more often. So I'm going to put a little bit of lava in there to give it a little weight. And I'm going to I'm going to be praying that it gets a new root, because I also didn't have any of them planted. I didn't have them planted high enough. I mean low enough. So that if it tries to make a new root, I have to dump that out and make a little bit of better spot. I don't know which way it's trying to grow. There we go. Not too. Okay. Anyway, I thought I could have done this and not showed you, you know, but I thought, you know, really, you ought to see the messes I get into. Nothing's ever perfect, just like life. Nothing's ever perfect. We can't control it. I always used to say, we're in the driver's seat. You know, if you don't like the direction you're going, you're in the driver's seat. You can change it. And that's what I do. I change it. Okay, now, looks happy. Now I'm going to give it a little water, and I'm going to sit it in there. Now there's no water where those pebbles are. It will not get wet feet. And this has lots of drainage in the bottom. So the only reason I'm putting this one in there is because of it's in extra sad state of affairs. So, okay. Maybe I'll just put it here for a minute because I have two other things I want to put in there. I'm going to just clean this up. And I should show you. This is the big bag of bark I get. This is Rexius orchid bark, and it's 56.6 liters. And it says medium. Now, I used to get large, and I can't get it here anymore in British Columbia. But I do, they ordered me in, and I think I just pay over $30, or that's what it used to be, for a huge bag. And I have a full one right now that I'm starting. So the price is excellent, and the bark is good, so it works for me. Now, as I said, we went shopping today, and I got two little plants. One, some people call a nerve plant, but it's also Fittonia. Now, it's dry as a bone, so I'll give it some water. Doesn't like to dry out. I'll show you a close-up, but I'm not taking it out. I'm just putting it in the pot in there. And that's what I've decided to do. If it starts to spread like it should spread, if it starts to spread, I will put it in a bigger pot or something. But for now, we'll see how it does in there. So I got that. And now, these grow quite big. This is a false area. And I liked it, but I was reading about it. It grows quite tall, but you can prune it and keep it down. So that's what I plan to do. And I hate, you know, for $1.99 each, I thought, well, just something in there with the other plants. Everything likes company. People plant, they like to be around other of their own kind. And they add to the humidity of the pot. So I'll just let that drain for a minute. There we go. And then we'll put them in and hope for the best. And the other slipper orchid will go back. Now, before I do that, so in this pot that I water once a week, but I do mist, I still have, there's Haraella retrocalla's little name tag, Forest View Gardens. Oh, there's a hole there where the water went. So, just a minute. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay. There we go. There's her little name tag. So she wasn't here, she's not here anymore. And I did have some worms on the top. But what is working out good with these worms? And I'm going to take you on a tour after. And I want to show you what's happening with this fern. The fern is doing really well. Now I also have Anna-Larati Soekardi in here. Now I should check, maybe she should go in there too and be mounted. Now I'm going to check on how much humidity she likes. She's doing good. I'll show you. Now I will check. She does have good roots. Whoops. But also that I probably doesn't like wet feet. I'm hoping to get a leaf, but I'll check. Now if I find she needs high humidity, like Haraella retrocalla, I'll put her mounted on that. If I find, because she has lost some, but these are all firm, not squishy at all. So I'm going to be checking on that, and if next time you see her in there, it'll be because I found out she also came at the same time I bought Haraella retrocalla, and she came from Forest View Gardens also many years ago, has done nothing, is trying to get a new leaf. So if I found she needs that real high humidity, I'm going to mount her. So it's kind of like having a mount, but having it in a jar. This is my newest, latest thing to try. Now, so I'm going to check after this video. So that will depend where she goes, and I'll let you know. Also in here, I have seagull crawfish pie. Now, seagull crawfish pie is doing really good. I'm going to leave her. Okay? So she's doing good. This one may go in. I'll double check because I can't do that right now. And over on this corner, who is doing really well, is, I mean, she's still okay, is the poor little, when I cut my oldest orchid, point her out to you later when we do our tour, when I had to take this much of a stem off, because you saw how that slipper orchid was. Well, while the old Phal Anna-Larati I had so long, it had this big one. It wouldn't fit in pots anymore. It was awkward, and I cut it off. And she took a shot. She truly did. And I had a piece of stem with no leaves, no nothing. And I waited years, and I got these leaves. I'm hoping that it'll get used to this situation and grow another leaf this year and some more roots. But it seems okay, seems happy in there. So those two I'm not moving, which leaves me these little spots over here. And I want to show you a close-up of, I have the half soil. I have this pot that I have that fern in. I almost bought another fern to put on here, and I thought, you know, even if I grew just ferns in there, it's so pretty, and they seem to like it. And what I've done with those worms is the soil is only going this far, halfway about. The rest is wet worms. and I have control over how wet they are, but the little seedlings are growing right out of those worms. So far, it's the only thing I've seen where the worms really worked. So I thought about using them on this display kind of between the flowers for extra moisture around the plant. I could hang a couple worms there. I don't know. I'll see. So we're going to look at that. I'm going to take you for a tour of the windows. And I guess that's it for today. Glad you're joining me. Glad to get the comments. Much appreciated. Some of them I read to Jack. He'll come in. He's, how's it doing? And I'll read them to him. Mom likes to hear them too. So sometimes I go downstairs and put on the computer down there because she plays Spider and different games. She likes to do that on the. That's easier for her to do. So let's go for a tour. Okay, now this shouldn't squeak too much because Jack fixed it a little. I just lift that out of there, turn it so I can operate it, get in my hand. Oh, there. This is the tricky part. I hate to make anybody feel dizzy. Okay, let's do a close-up in here. You see the little seedlings growing? This is all new growth. This is part of the old original, and I think this, I'm not sure about that one, but I had clipped a bunch off. But there's lots of new little things coming. So I think it's liking those worms. And I keep them moist, and probably halfway, sometimes, like it's plenty moist right now, and I watered on Wednesday. So this is seagull crawfish pie, and I'm seeing some new shoots here, so I'm not disturbing her. Her leaves are firm. I'm still hoping, you know, there's some growth down in here. So I'm still hoping for that. That leaves me 2 corners free. Not sure what I'll do with them. I like this little pot. And I see some little signs of new growth and new roots coming. So I'm leaving that. And so in here, oh, I didn't put my little things in. Okay. So over here, now they're drained. I guess we have to get the little slipper orchid in. Now, I think we just better put her down there. There we go. There. Now, and, okay. Almost forgot. And there, and let's put the little name tag over there. Well, I could move this one over like that. Let's move it right over there. I'll prune it, and I'll put that one there. One more. Jack helped me pick these out, and he folded back a paper bag. They didn't have anything to put them in. For $1.99, I couldn't refuse. So here we go. This is what we have. Now, I know the pots, I prefer to stay with the pots. I tried the other way. They're easier to look and check. And then I can mist and lift the lid off and on whenever I choose. So, there we go. We almost forgot, but we've done it. And we'll see how that works. Okay, we are going to look at the new windows. Now, the pot, the square pot, it sits in one of the new windows. And now this is the orchid, still fine, that I cut off of the one that blew its buds because it was growing out over the furnace. And I cut it off ages ago, and it's still fine. And I think it was better for the plant. And this is where the square pot sits, so it gets lots of light. We're getting lots of light here now. Now, on Valentine's Day, no, I did not get an orchid. They look terrible, so I give them credit for that. I got a Calla lily, and they like to be kept moist. Now, I had this pot. It has a little hole in the back because I was using it for a mister once because I changed things around. But if the water gets too high, the hole is about here, it will drain out. Now, I don't think there's too much water staying, but it'll help keep it moist. And I'm going to keep it as a house plant because I think years ago I tried some outside and they just didn't do well. And the dendrobium is starting to lose a few flowers, which I should clean up. Yeah, they've been in flower for, I don't know, it was after Christmas sometime. And I have an air plant here that just seems happy. Get some water. It's been happy there. And then up here, one day I want to see, these are the flowers that are coming right out from under the medium, under all the leaves, and I still want to check that out. Okay. That's this window, and they are getting a lot more light, and I think the fern's happier. And so let's go over here. Now, this dendrobium, this is the one that I broke this right off. Now, it seems firm. And what's going to happen, as long as it stays there, I'm leaving it there. So we've still got blooms here too. They're starting to fade now. And we got 2 new buds coming here. It's quite beautiful. Just love it. And here, this is Phal Mini Mark. Her leaves are good. She seems fine too. They seem to like this. They get a little tiny bit of western light, but they also get the early morning light. And there's my little Peloric. Yeah. She's happy. And my misting bowl. So we're making sure we keep, this is one I got at a garage sale for a couple bucks. It works for that top shelf. I moved it over for these 2, which are doing quite well. They're liking these baskets. And this one. Now, this one had pleated leaves at one time, and I've moved them to the basket, and now they're coming really nice. They don't seem to be pleating anymore. So that's what's going on in there. ZZ plant's getting brand new shoots coming up. And of course I put that plastic over the bottom so Maggie wouldn't drink that water. And once in a while I have to bail it, but it's worth it. I don't want her going in there, which she never does anymore. So, these guys are fine. I saw something. Oh, that's not a little. I always watch for any sign of scale. They will be on your flower, a dark spot, or even up the stem. And if you see little dark spots on your flowers, you pick them off. I've hardly seen one this year, but that was one, and it's gone now. So I'm still getting a spike on this one. And so there will be flowers there. I don't know the name of this. Somebody asked me, but I got it at a garage sale. And when the sun gets real firm, it gets very tigery. Like it gets way more color. See, the ones in the back near the light, they're already getting darker. So, and up here, they're all getting more blooms on them. Now I was gonna trim this one off, coming from this other orchid. It's got a new leaf coming, and there's only one flower, and I thought about putting it in with the other one. Now this is the oldest orchid that little plant should mimic, if I ever get it to come better. And she's got 3 blooms. She perked up. She's doing fine. I'm happy. When I feel them and their leaves are firm, it makes me feel very happy. So that's window. And you see there's some, I haven't decided what I'm doing with this cage yet. And Jack says, well, you can't have a cage there empty. So I hunted up these little birds and I stuck them in there for now till I decide what I'm doing in there. So, okay. Oops. Okay. Now, I want to show you here. See if I can turn this around without dropping it on the floor. I don't think I can. Ooh, we're sitting on the edge. Okay. We have a branch coming right here. Of course, this one, it has a branch. It's just beautiful. And it looks like it's getting another branch. I wanted to turn you around so you could see this one. Just beautiful. Seems very happy there, but I'll come back and make sure that's not that close to the edge. Of course, this is the one I cut off because it had grew right out over the heating vent before I noticed, and I never even thought about it, and I should have known better. But the older one that I got last Mother's Day, it's getting some flowers, so it will be white. And this one here, whoop, it has a new bloom getting ready to open. Now, see what Jack did, this temporary fix for the heater vent so that it blows it this way. But our stores don't have those magnetic clear things, so we have to find some. So these are new ones, so they're not flowering, they're getting acclimatized. And of course these ones in this pot, they seem happy. No shot, no trouble. And I've had the cactuses in the bag for years. That one there, it needs to go in some extra bigger pot that keeps growing. So, and things every once in a while I come here and I tuck these little strands in. So it seems to like that. Doesn't get a lot of light, but it does get some. So that's about it. We're finally getting some sun. We were fogged in this morning. And okay, thanks for joining me. I'll clean up my mess before lunch. That's 20 minutes. Bye for now.